Who would have thought at this point of the season that Jalen Milroe would be known as one of the best players in college football? Starting to get recognition as far as the Heisman goes. He has performed extremely well for Alabama, including setting records for the most touchdowns scored by a quarterback rushing in the history of Alabama football. And then came back the next week. That was against LSU with 4. And then against Kentucky, became the first one to ever run 3 in and throw for 3. And he'll take on Auburn in the Iron Bowl, and we're going to talk all about Jalen Milroe. Why is Jalen Milroe a guy that Auburn's going to have a tough time defending? Well, we're going to talk about it right here on the Bama Tailgate channel. We want you to be a part of this. Our YouTube channel, it's easy to do. Here's the invitation. Let's talk some Alabama football. Oh, let me throw a Roll Tide out there to you, Chad, and everyone that is hanging out with us. That's Chad Anderson. I'm Mick Gillispie. Roll Tide, man. This is Iron Bowl week. This is what you love. And it's going to be a tough game down on the plains. I mean, it's got to be, right? It's Auburn's opportunity at redemption after they had one of the most embarrassing losses. A lot of people are comparing that to Nick Saban's 9-11, that defeat that Alabama had to Louisiana Monroe. And now they get another opportunity at redemption, taking on Alabama and Jalen Milroe, Saturday, 2:30, Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Yeah, it's man, rivalry week, right? Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Auburn's 3-8, if Alabama's 3-8, if it's 1 versus 2 or 1 versus 4, like it just doesn't matter. Like this week, there's just always a little extra, like I don't know what it is, just a little extra juice flowing this week, no matter what. And it's because you live next door probably to an Auburn fan, or you know somebody at work, and it's just like, man, I'm gonna have to listen to this BS for 365 days if something goes wrong Saturday, and especially the position Alabama's in, because it's very rare that Alabama ruins an Auburn season. It's extremely more common that Auburn has a chance to ruin an Alabama season.
Right.
And that's where we're at once again. So yeah, it's just one of those things though, Mick, like Bama. And I know we're a little more confident this week, and especially with Jalen Milroe and what he's done to evolve this year. But there's just something about playing at Auburn that's always a little uneasy. It's just a little unsettling, a little unnerving. But with Jalen Milroe running the ship, him being the captain, week 2, we were looking around going, all right, who else we got? Let's see this guy. Let's see this guy. Where's Lonergan? Does he really need to play baseball? Like, come on, let's see who we got. Now here we are, and it's like, man, Milroe's our guy. Not only is he our guy, it's like, I can't wait to have Milroe back next year. Would you have ever said that, Mick? Would you have ever said, can't wait for Milroe to come back next year? And here we are, just looking at how good he's going to be with even more experience from this year under his belt.
When do you think everything turned around for him? What was there a play? Was there a moment that you look back and go, that's when Milroe came into his own?
I think there's 2 spots. I think second half Ole Miss, because Alabama's offense looked dreadful in the first half of Ole Miss. Think about that. You go the Texas game, people are pissed. South Florida game, you only won just because you simply had collegiate athletes against like lower FCS quality type players. I mean, poor South Florida, they've actually had a decent season. I think they're around 500. But you go those 2 weeks in a row, and then the first half of Ole Miss, everybody's like, man, when are they ever going to figure it out? Like,
yeah,
this Bama team, I really wish I had saved more receipts from September 23rd and before. But it was like a second half Ole Miss, man.
Was it Joe Klatt that said that he didn't think that Milroe would be able to figure it out?
I can't
I,
remember.
I swear I heard him say that on the next round. That he's just like his inability to read defenses, and it would impact his ability to play, and he didn't know how he was going to turn it around, and he's figured it out. I mean, not perfect, but he's figured it out.
There was a play against Ole Miss in the second half where Milroe got hit, but threw a touchdown pass, and Amari Niblack made a great catch. He was falling back in the end zone, but kind of reached forward, made the grab, had a defender, fell on his back, held onto the ball, scored a touchdown. And that was in the second half. And there was something about that play, like where it's like, all right, that was a really good play by Milroe and a great catch by Niblack. Mississippi State, Bama kind of controlled that, but that was a much lesser opponent. So I think second half Ole Miss, and then really the one, though, that was just like, okay, he's for real, it's not a flash in the pan, was the road game at Texas A&M. He was hurt, not officially, but it is pretty obvious. Bama didn't run the ball well, and Milroe went out there and dropped over 3 bills on him through the air, hit some touchdowns. Statistically, Alabama won that. The score was much closer than that game
right
really showed in the final box. But that was really like a growing up moment, I think, because once he did that, not that A&M's world beaters, but we can all agree it's not necessarily easy to go in there and win that game. And where they were at that point in the season as a team, I really think that's what was the confidence sealer for him. Ole Miss gave us the idea that it's possible.
Right.
Texas A&M was more all right, now we're good against anybody right now.
And I think that it was the pass to Burton when Alabama was down in the second half against Texas A&M that tied the game. You know what I mean? Like I felt like that was the moment where it was like, man, he threw the interception and then you're going to lose now. And then all of a sudden you get the ball back, throws the touchdown, and you're like, okay. And then from that point on, man, just a lot of confidence for that guy. And the offense and the team has followed. The defense was solid from the beginning. They just needed to get on the same page with the communication. But Milroe, I think he was hurt. I've said this a lot, that I believe what Vegas was saying when they didn't think he was going to play at Texas A&M, and the line went like 4.5 to 1. Some places it was under 1. And then all of a sudden he played anyway, but he didn't run. And then he played weeks where he wasn't running a lot. And I kept saying, this, he's not running. He's the fastest guy on the field why isn't he not running? Then we saw a little bit of it against Tennessee. And then LSU and Kentucky got their asses kicked by him.
Yeah. He's a different guy in the last 3-4 weeks. Completely different guy. Also, too, on that Burton pass, and you're right, that was such a good throw and catch for a touchdown. It was like dropping a dime, too. It was such a small window that he had to fit that one into. Didn't he miss? I'd have to go back and look. Didn't he miss like a wide open or an easy throw the play or two before? And then he comes back and throws the dime. And it's like he made the hard throw, but he missed the easy throw. And I think really right now, that's the only knock that you could have on Jalen Milroe at the moment is the 5 to 10 yard completions, the shallow crosses, the coming across the middle, maybe with him rolling and running and throwing at the same time. Missed a few of those back in October. Missed Isaiah Bond wide open against LSU in the short corner. When he rolled out, his legs are what freed everything up and created Bond to be that open, but then just overshot him. That's the only knock, though, right? Like, that's it. If everybody's got a little weakness, that's his. But you can still say that it's gotten better week after week after week. But, man, and you saw it against LSU. Now that he's healthy, now that he's flying around, running that, he probably runs, like a 3.6 40?
Probably. I mean,
he says here, but
he says that, yeah, right. He says that he hasn't opened it up yet.
That is what he said. He said, I ain't even let him out yet. And, this would be a great week to see it, although I know Georgia looms as well. Milroe, though, when he's fully healthy, and LSU saw it, And it's what created the wide open touchdown for Kobe Prentice against Kentucky.
Yeah.
Because Kentucky saw Milroe's legs against LSU. And on that second touchdown for Bama up in Lexington, Milroe rolled out of the pocket, started just ever so slightly towards the line of scrimmage. It sucked everyone up, and Prentice is wide open in the deep spot down at towards the pylon, wide open for a touchdown. And that's the respect that he gains with his legs, and that's the problems he causes for defense.
Do you think if he has a big game against Auburn and a big game against Georgia that he could get the invite to New York for the Heisman ceremony?
Yeah, especially against Georgia. Yeah, I think against Auburn, people kind of like, it's good and as a road win, a rivalry game. But if he does it against Georgia and beats Georgia, I for sure think he could slip up into a Heisman finalist situation. He's not going to win it. So let's get that out there now. But I think he could get the invite to New York, especially depending on what happens with a few of the other players.
Mm-hmm.
Remember our buddy Blaine, though, who still just didn't believe me when I said that Milroe, this was after, I think, Tennessee, or maybe it was LSU, but one or the other, when we were talking about it. You start winning these games, you start doing it in front of a national audience, and you start putting up 4 and 5 and 6 touchdowns in a game and all these different things. It happens fast, catches people's attention. And I've said for the last month, Milroe's not a Heisman winner, not this year, but Milroe, depending on how this season finishes, it's still a wide open Heisman race, or at least past the top 1 or 2, because I know Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix have a lot of love right now. But as far as the invites go, there's still such a wide range after number 1 or 2. If you're going with Daniels and Nix, that there's no reason you don't throw Milroe in there. Like, I'd put him in over Caleb Williams, put him in over JJ McCarthy, put him in over Dylan Gabriel. Marvin Harrison Jr., is another one that's kind of like that next tier down.
Right.
I'd put him up there with just about anybody other than, Jaden Daniels' numbers are just insanely good.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be Daniels and Bo Nix and Marvin Harrison Jr., and then maybe that 4th spot, right? I mean, I don't think there's enough time to win it, and he's not going to pass those guys. But you know what? I mean, that's really interesting when you think about where this season started. And it's exciting for Alabama, but all of it doesn't matter if you don't beat Auburn in the Iron Bowl. None of it matters. You got to beat them, and then start to prepare for Georgia and take care of business against them in Atlanta. But you got to take it. These are the 1 week at a time games. You don't want to be Auburn last week and be preparing for Alabama and then get your ass kicked. You got to be focused on this game. And then this game to the next game, and then the next game to the next game. You beat Auburn. It'll be the 50th time Alabama's beaten them. Be a special win, and it puts you in Atlanta with a lot of momentum. And that's a play-in game. For all intents and purposes, it's a playoff. It's a playoff game. This one is too, but that really is a playoff game because Georgia and Alabama both need to win to get in. At least that's how it sits right now. Bama would need a little help, but I don't know. I think if you beat them, you may go from 8th to 1, depending on, I mean, who knows? Maybe 8th to 3rd, but depending on how things shake out. Because
2 or 3 is the ceiling.
Yeah, but people are starting to see that this team's for real. And now they've got this week, the final regular season game against their arch rival. And Jalen Milroe definitely is exciting to watch. And it'll be very, very fun to take him down to the Plains and see if he can continue what he's doing. Hey, guys, I want to remind you that right now, using the promo code Bama Tailgate at newlifeart.com gets you 25% off all purchases over there. So as you start to, pimp out your man cave, maybe you want to have a studio full of Daniel Moore prints. I'm like a kid in a candy store, and you are too, Chad. I mean, we could sit around and talk about our favorite Daniel Moore prints. The one that got away was the basketball print of Antoine Petway laying it up. I regret that I was in college at that point and had no money to buy that. and there's none to get. They're like, they didn't do many of them. Yeah, but I was courtside for that game. I would love to use 25% off to get one of those right now. A basketball print, but I've made up for it with football. We got all of them in here from the championship games. And I told him the other day I want the Kenyon Drake to go with my Kenyon Drake Daniel Moore New Life Art trophy, or not trophy, but statue, you know, which is pretty cool. So it's the same thing. I just need that to go behind it, like for the set, you know, as we rearrange things in here. I think I'm going to put it back there and have like a, you know, where you guys can see it.
I used to have some of the really old ones. I've only got 2 left.
You sold them?
Yeah. There were
times got tight.
It needed money, man. And it is what it is. I had goal line stand.
Oh,
I had coach in 315. I had the original Crimson Legacy. The 2 I still do have, though, that are old. I still have the kick, and it's actually autographed by Van Tiffen. That one's cool. And I've got Liberty. Those are my two oldies. I do miss goal line stand. I still wish I had that one.
Yeah, that one's I mean, like that's the OG right there, right?
Yeah.
That and the Arkansas print.
Over the top. I used to have that one. I had to sell it too. Brutal, man. Quit talking about it. You're making me mad.
Look at you, man. Well, look, now's the time to stock up. And again, I'm going to throw that up there, 25% off. And from what they were telling me, you guys have taken advantage of the promo codes over the course of the season. So continue to do that. And when you go to check out Bama Tailgater, you can use my name, Mick Gillispie, as well. All right, guys, that does it. If you're not part of what we're doing here, make sure that you are. Join our Tailgate, the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. We'll be back tomorrow to preview Alabama and Auburn Iron Bowl Week 2023. Roll Tide, everybody.